the second biggest mass murderer in history. It goes Mao, and then after that it goes Stalin, Lenin, Hitler, and then way down the line. I mean, these are all well-known numbers. Literally hundreds of major university studies, declassified, admissions. And I've had communists on the streets recognize who I am in New York, go into the RNC to cover it and things like that, come up, get in my face, threaten me, and, well, we got it on video, and say they're glad Stalin killed people like me. And I mean, that's in police state, what is it, martial law, 911, Rise of the Police State, 3-hour film. And I'm like, hey, you know, communism is bad. I mean, Stalin killed conservatively 30 million people during his reign. That's conservative. Good. Well, I mean, you think the government should take over and kill people? Yeah. Good, I think it's good. And you hear the women going, yeah, they ought to kill you. And, of course, they're not going to kill anybody. If they got in control, they'll order the police and military to go do it. And the police and military will say no, and they'll kill their entire leadership. And then the next round of cops will grudgingly do it, and then they'll still take your family, too. By the way, this is going to happen if we don't stop these people. I don't think you understand. I've analyzed the entire attack profile of the globalist in country after country and what they're setting up here, and they're going to shut everything off if they think they can get away with it, incrementally in a stair-step fashion, imploding the economy, grabbing more power in the name of fixing it, more taxes, shut the economy down more, implode it more, gauge that, give money to their friends, keep everybody in line, implode it more. Until they find a class of government bureaucrats that will do anything. And they're going to put you in jail for dog poo in your yard. They're going to put you in jail for not properly weatherproofing your house. This is the new greening tyranny, the new Soviet model. And they're going to publicly shame you on the news. And they're going to work you. You have to understand, under the Civilian Inmate Labor Camp Program, the Model States Health Emergency Powers Act, under the Emergency Centers Establishment Act. I hope you're writing all this down. Under the Army manuals we've covered here ad nauseum, just type in Army manual has forced labor, Army manual has gun confiscation, Army manual says re-education camp. You'll get our articles with links to army.mil with it. That guy's just showing some of that right now. They're watching on PrisonPlanet.tv, but radio listeners, go search it. You know, go do it for yourself. Under the whole architecture of this, they're already, now, as I told you a decade ago, they're announcing, oh, when things collapse, you'll have to work at the emergency center. You'll have to do some work. Obviously, we're not going to pay for you living in the camp. And then those of us that have skills will be, if we're trustees and prove we're good after a few months in the re-education camp, we'll be told, okay, go with these armed guards and go fix this government boiler. Okay, go with these armed guards, go out and work on these streets. It'll be like you see the prisoners, who are taking other people's jobs, by the way. People are like, we'll make the prisoners work. What, for nothing? For 25 cents an hour or less? And then you'll go and you'll bust out, and then these guys with guns, they'll be nice to you, too, if you don't get too out of the way. You know, if the jail guards don't want your wife, then they'll go, you know, lock you up in the camp at night. And there'll be people in the camp who were patriots, who will get scared and become energetic enforcers, and they'll be back a month later in a uniform. But then they'll make somebody mad, and then they'll disappear. Because, see, what they'll do is they'll have camps within camps for interrogation. Then they'll say, oh, you've been out of line. We're sending you now to a high-security facility, and you'll just be killed. The mercenaries are at that facility. And this has all been figured out. They hired the former head of the KGB, Primakov, in 2002 to 2005 to come here. I didn't believe that when I first saw it in the news. I looked at the congressional funding. They hired Marcus Wolf, the head of the Stasi, to come over. Former head of the Stasi. He had $1 million contract for, 4 years? He's now dead, helping set all the stuff up. And that's why it's Stasi. I mean, the enforcement model is a hardcore communist enforcement system. That's why people from communist countries are freaking out and leaving the U.S. and running to Latin America and places, because they can deal with regular old corruption and shakedowns. But when they're like seeing actual Soviet oppression, that, you know, where daddy and mommy disappeared, they're like, I'm getting out of here. Hope you enjoy it, folks. James in North Carolina, you want to talk about 2012? Go ahead.
Yeah, actually, good to talk to you again, Alex. It's been a couple months. And I'd also called in reference to the information you guys were putting out in regards to the Colorado case. You may recall I called in a little while ago, actually, and gave you some information on a DARPA program called Crossing the Threshold. We talked about actually the thought barrier being broken by DARPA and using light particles to actually be able to do it and manipulate people and take over using mind control. Oh,
well, yeah. I mean, as Dr. Begich says, a prestigious scientist, the chemical stuff is old. That's 1940s, 50s Soviet technology, stolen by the CIA and perfected to a higher level. Not quite perfected, but brought close to it. With the brain chips and things, it's total. I mean, 30 years ago, they had roaches that were remote control. 20 years ago, they had robo-rats that were remote control. Yeah, they can put brain chips in and have you do whatever you're told.
Yeah, well, actually, it even goes a step beyond that now. The ability they have is actually using light particles and light beams. They can actually achieve thought profiling and transfer into any language.
No, I know, because the brain program works in a flicker rate, and then they can now transmit data through the eyes directly to the brain. That's why they're in government buildings putting in the lights that, quote, communicate with the computers at a flash rate that can't be perceived consciously. And then I went and found the patents and had Dr. Begich on. It's actually programmers. They're actually programming now under federal grants, mainly in police departments, to test and see if they can put police under mind control.
Yes, sir. And I had actually spoke with you on this previously and work in the insurance industry and actually have had some information sent over from a company that's participating in this. They gave some information out and said basically that we're going to be able to communicate with animals. They can do all this stuff, simultaneously while, achieving thought profiling of people without them knowing.
No, I know. It's actually, you're saying this is, why don't you send over anything that isn't proprietary or classified? I know you're in insurance, so it's not. Send it on over. We're media. Send it to showtips@infowars.com. But I am aware of all this, and I am aware of its deployment all over. I mean, that's why the elite are so arrogant right now. The public is already in a trance. Some people are resistant or immune to this, and that's why we're still able to operate. I mean, that's why, folks, it's so far gone. I mean, that's why celebrity doesn't matter. Attacks on me don't matter. None of it. Once you know reality, none of this facade even matters anymore. And they haven't perfected all this stuff. They're testing it on us right now. And I just want to say to all the minions of this system, if you want your free will and consciousness taken, don't fight this. Because they're just going to try to get us in a catatonic state to then release the bioweapons to reduce our numbers over 90%. Anything else, sir?
Yes. Right now, it's on basically like a one-on-one type of basis. The people they use to thought profile can only do it. They can't do it on a mass scale yet. So, I mean, like you were just saying, before it gets to the point where they can actually, systematically put something in place or a computer program, where it can do it on a mass scale. I mean, this is a time where... Well, I mean,
take San Antonio. It's a test ground. You've heard for 3 years how the Pentagon put AI cameras in to track the calories, to even scan an apple when a child eats it and then put it in a file. What's really going on is they've put those light bulbs in that San Antonio school. I have that from inside the school. The first one they did it, and the computers are actually testing the children under the fluorescent lights. It's so far gone, folks. We're so far gone.
Lunch is ready.
And it's an MRE smorgasbord at longlifefood.com. In 1983, Long Life Food Depot was one of the first to sell MRE pouches to the public, and we're still selling them almost 30 years later. Today, Long Life Food Depot has the world's most complete MRE online buffet, because MREs are all we do. Tasty varieties of chicken, beef, salmon, and pasta entrees, plus sandwiches and our easy-to-use pouches. Full moisture, long shelf life, and ready to eat hot or cold. We sell by the pouch or case, so the choices are endless, and so are the graduated quantity discounts. The more you buy, the more you save. Call 800-601-2833 or go to longlifefood.com to join our email list for upcoming announcements like the Rollaway Food Pod. Plus, enjoy fast and free shipping. Just call 800-601-2833 or visit longlifefood.com. Emergency preparedness, emergency relief. longlifefood.com since 1983, sending real food to your real future.
Don't throw away leftovers. Instead, throw all your leftovers, vegetable peels, eggshells, coffee grounds, pizza crusts, and more into the bokashi. If you love to garden and compost but don't like the hassle of turning a compost bin or the smell, then check out the EM Bokashi Food Waste Recycling System from Terraganics. Finally, a way to recycle all your food and plant waste safely and effectively and stop using fertilizers. The EM Bokashi Food Waste Recycling System. Rather than decomposition, the Bokashi system uses fermentation to break down waste, so it takes less time to create nutrient-dense humus for crops or gardens, with no turning and no obnoxious odors. To learn more and order your Bokashi online, visit Terraganics.com and click on the orange button. That's Terraganics.com, spelled Terraganix.com, or call 866-369-3678. That's 866-369-3678. Recycle all your food wastes in about 6 weeks with the Bokashi Food Waste Recycling System from Terraganics.com. Terraganics. Life's getting better.
What looks good under your Christmas tree and tastes even better? Big Berkey water filters. Yes, the gift of clean water. A gift that provides a great foundation for achieving good health in the lives of your loved ones. A Big Berkey water filter gives them protection from bacteria, heavy metals, chlorine, fluoride, pesticides and herbicides, VOCs, and more. And best of all, a Big Berkey water filter is a gift that lasts for many years with no additional investment. And that saves time and money in filter replacements that other water filters require and are even powerful enough to purify treated, untreated, or even stagnant pond water. As always, all orders over $50 are shipped free, and GCN listeners get 5% off all ceramic filter systems. Order online at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com, spelled Big, B-E-R-K-E-Y, waterfilters.com, or call 877-99-BERKEY. That's 877-99-BERKEY. Gift well this Christmas. Give a Big Berkey water filter.
I have been inside major universities. I've had scientists on. I've broken it down. So much of the focus by the globalist is on flicker rates with lights. And now they can interface and transmit data directly to the brain. In fact, I mean, it was in mainstream news, 2 weeks ago, that scientists use light patterns to program brain. And I mean, so, but they're now announcing what's old. The point is, just like you have a cell phone and it listens to you even when it's off, and they admit the NSA now does that. I told you 16 years ago. They now admit it just the last few years. They tell you way after they think that you've habitualized its use, that you have a total habit and will accept it. It's all animal training. It's all domestication. And everything is how to program you with these lights. And it's just insane. Now they have data over power lines, and the smart meters can program through the energy, through regular fluorescent light bulbs, and program your mind, put you into a state. And it's all patented. It's all on record. It works. I remember 14 years ago, I had the CEO of a company. It's now been put in Japan and other areas. In the U.S., it freaked people out too much. The Japanese actually have adopted it, where Coke machines, soft drink machines, beam a audio, but you can't hear it in your ear. It resonates in your skull directly through, telling you want to drink the drink. Now they face scan with Facebook in Japan. They're also testing this in New York City, where it knows you when you walk by, beams audio and says, don't you want a Pepsi? Don't you want a Coke? Or don't you want something out of this vending machine, John Doe? Now, you saw that Minority Report, a decade ago. Because, folks, it isn't Minority Report. Philip K. Dick was in with some very powerful researchers in San Francisco. And I've had a chance to talk to people connected to the Philip K. Dick estate. I'll just leave it at that. And, in fact, they may even be at liberty to come on after the show. I didn't call any of those people I told you to make me call yesterday. Make me call those people, as I got stuck in other meetings, because I want to try to get the Philip K. Dick daughters on. I'll just say it. And I want to try to get, because obviously I was in Scanner Darkly and consulted on that with Keanu.